command, Megatron.
Subscribe for Magic the Gathering and other content for evil fun.
Fear not, Megatron. Cybertron shall remain as you leave it.
Armageddon! Annihilation! White-hot tentacles of doom spit fire! Venom! Screeching! Help me! Help me! Help me! Help me! Ruination! Devastation! Apocalypse now! Now!
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. We got Hillbilly here with us. We're going to chat about what makes us happy with Magic. Because happiness is where it matters. Happiness is where it counts. You might have something fun to do. I might have something fun I like. You know, we all have different opinions. Like this fool over here is an arena player. You know?
Yep.
You know, one thing we all like is spoiler seasons. Maybe we'll go over spoilers today, maybe. But I want to get the topic done so it ain't all spoilers like it was yesterday. Because yesterday was supposed to be topical, but, man, they just keep pumping out all the good stuff.
Yeah, they pumped out a few cards this morning.
Right. How are you guys in chat doing today? How are you? I see some of you are here just lurking. Want to know if you're having a good day. Yeah, so today we're going to play around. 1 second. Bloop. Bloop. There you go. Some special effects.
Now.
Oh, man. So Lorcana just came out, and this show ain't about Lorcana, obviously. But Lorcana just came out, and people are buying the product left and right, which is good, and it's good for Magic. Because if Lorcana starts taking people from Magic, Wizards will realize they have competition, and that makes me happy. Because I think Wizards of the Coast needs the competition so they can aggressively price things at good prices and help make the market more fair for us. That makes me happy to think about if Lorcana succeeds the way I want it to. You know?
Go Lorcana.
Go Lorcana. If Lorcana succeeds, Magic will succeed. That's the way I look at it. Especially in the competitive market. Man, you know what? Let me see.
I agree with you 100% on that.
Right?
But they also got some more games coming out too, from what I hear. Hey, Twiddler.
Twiddler! Yo! Last night's show was exciting, wasn't it? Watching your show, watching some of the sick rips on Twiddler's place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I kind of fell asleep halfway through.
Right. Now I sent out some bait for MTG Gaming Bob, see if he wants to join, because I think if he joins, he would have a good idea of what I'm talking about when it comes to Lorcana. If it's successful, Magic will be successful. Maybe he has different views. I don't know. We'll see. He might be at work. I'll know. But I think it's good. People are going great. Mrs. Hillbilly. Whoop, whoop. Welcome. I think if Lorcana succeeds, they'll go up on the price to compete with Magic. I think it's 50-50. What you're saying, I think Lorcana will probably go up in price to compete with Magic, but I think Magic will have to compete with the cheaper price of Lorcana.
DJ.
Yo, still not set up yet. Aw, well, did I send you a link? I think I did. Ding.
But these new cards, my opinion, if they do like undersell Magic, more people will go to them. Magic will see that. Magic will see that, and there's like, lots of people will see that, and they'll be like, well, they're outselling us.
Well, on top of that, I've been seeing so many posts on Facebook and Reddit. People are just excited about this game. people are going crazy. Like, they're like jumping on the bandwagon of Lorcana.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, I do not plan to get into Lorcana myself. You know what I'm saying? I don't plan on buying cards. I don't plan on getting into tournaments. I don't plan on being supportive of Lorcana in the way of purchasing and making money for them. But I am on the train that if they succeed, it'll be better for the environment of TCG. And I'm excited about that because people are doing pretty good. Even Gaming Bob, I was just talking to him a little bit, and he said he didn't get everything he ordered because of supply issues, basically like short supply issues. Meaning this thing is selling out like hotcakes, just flying off the shelf, and that makes me giddy because I like to see it succeed. Because, like I said, I think Magic needs a competitor. But you know what? Let's home back a bit and let the little kind of thing rest for a second, because I want to hone in on the joy of Magic, the things that brings us together a little. You know, like for instance, Magic's been suffering in the community. I don't think the game's really suffering. The game seems to be doing pretty good, especially when things are selling out like crazy. Oh man, Wizards of the Coast knows good product, and they know what's mediocre product, and they pick and choose which product's going to be where and when. But I mean, we've looked at the Wildsville Drain spoilers, and we're googling and goggling and drooling over some of the spice in here.
Mm-hmm.
Ew. Yep. Hi y'all. I don't either. I just want the Stitch card. Right. There's going to be multiple Stitch cards, I believe. So good luck. Stitch.
Stitch cards and Winnie the Pooh cards.
Right. Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh Bear. Winnie the Pooh Bear. I think it was a riff on Gummy Bears. Gummy Bears bouncing everywhere, there and here, something like that. I don't know. It's a good thing I don't have a great singing voice, because I probably would have been demonetized for copyright issues. Time Capsule.
Oh.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Time Capsule.
That's a sweet avatar you got. I can't remember the name of the show, but I know what it's from. It's from Disney Plus that I'm thinking of. It was actually a decent series. So let's talk about. I'm going to talk about something that gave me a scare this week. Moon Knight. Yes, Moon Knight. Yeah, I like the series they did on Disney Plus. It was actually decent. So earlier this week, I went through a scare because was it DJ mailed me Prime's decks that he sent me and some goodies of himself, and I tried filming the enchantment deck, and my computer was lagging and crapping out with the camera that I have set up that looks at the table, and I was trying to figure out why, and I thought it was issues with OBS, like having issues, like maybe it updated and my computer no longer supports it, which gladly is not the case. But sadly, it came down to two programs that were updated and were eating up a lot of space on my computer. One being Magic Arena, which sucks because I liked playing with you. It was a good time to play my old deck, and I was looking forward to updating that deck a little, because it's easier to update an existing deck than it is to build a new deck in Arena, especially with no money.
Right.
But then another one was a program called Let's View that it not only updated from a free program, like Let's View let me screen capture my phone onto the computer so I could use it as like live total or show something on the that was on my phone, which I can no longer do. And it was updated to be a paid service and heavy programming. So I was eating up a lot of space on my computer. So I had to uninstall those two after lengthy times of trying to figure out what the problems were. Because like what happened is nothing visually changed in my world, so it was hard to figure out what was going on. You know, like I didn't install anything new. Marina was working fine for a bit, and I was able to record before. Let's View was working fine for a bit, and I just got invisible updates. By invisible meaning they just updated in the background, like as Windows updated.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I had to sacrifice 2 programs for my life just to get OBS streaming, you know, and it's because I tried record, and I would have never noticed if I didn't try opening those decks and streaming them. And so when I was going through the enchantment deck, looking through the deck and stuff, I had to fix it. And for some reason, I was just dealing with. We almost thought it was my camera that wasn't working because my old camera, POS, that gladly works, has no focus, just as a stagnant picture. It would work fine with that because it's a low res camera and it wasn't eating so much data when being used. But it's not as good as my 4K camera, which lets you see and read the cards. So I'm glad I got all that stuff figured out. Let you guys in my little personal life. Then
You have more RAM and bigger hard drive. That might help.
might, but this is a laptop, so I can't just add that stuff. It's hard. It's hard. Oh man, I even suffered a virus on my computer because of a program that was downloaded to try to get video for Prime, but we figured that out the hard way. And I had to factory reset the computer and start all over again.
Dang.
And that's a long story I'm not going to get into because it could cause salt in some people's eyes for other people involved. And I'm not going to do that because I don't think the people involved intentionally did anything like that. Or intentionally did it because all I know is I was trying to help Prime get some captured footage off of videos that he opened some sweet cards from, and I was suggested by someone a program to help download the video, but it didn't work. And the long story short of it is YouTube was still processing the lives, and we couldn't download it, and we didn't realize that. The longer story tells that I learned I didn't have to download a new program to get the video. I just had to wait for the video. Yeah. Yep.
You gotta wait.
Well, I just never I've never been in that situation before. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Never. So luckily, I have the knowledge of stuff I needed to get back. Was able to set things up, start afresh, and slowly evolving. Like getting stingers and OBS was the newest thing I did. Like I did a test video last night. Interesting. Like I'm trying to improve my OBS streaming because see, StreamYard is good for other things more than StreamYard is better for certain things more than OBS is. Like with StreamYard, yeah, I can invite people easy. Like invite you, just share a link, people can pop in and jump in and join the chat. OBS, it's way harder to do that. If I want to share my screen, so easy to do on StreamYard, harder to do on OBS. You know, you kind of got to pre-set up everything and know what you're doing before that happens. Plus, you have to step by step add every individual thing from the video, the live feed to the sound. Like you got to link everything in there. Where here it does it automatically. So that's why we'll see us streamers go bounce between different streaming things. Now, if I paid for StreamYard, I'd have more hours. Like when I started today, I had like a little less than 2 hours to stream before the 21st. The 21st is when my hours reset to 20 hours a week or 20 hours a month. Hello. We're going to introduce Robert. Hello, Robert.
Good morning, Superfast and Mr. Hillbilly. How are we this morning?
Doing pretty good. It is nice to see you.
Doing good. How are you doing, Robert?
Man, I am beat, but I'm doing pretty good. This week was rough at work.
It sounds like it. Like, I don't know where you live, but I know in some areas we're hotter this week. Now that heat's pushing towards the middle of the U.S., and we're going to be like that for a week here. Then after that week, it's going to push more to Florida. And Texas has been beat to death with heat lately. Poor Texas.
Yeah, I'm in New Mexico. So,
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. No,
You're already in
we've
desert
been-
climate anyways.
yeah, we've been in the hundreds for about 110 days now, 112.
Right?
So, but it was just work was just rough in general. I had so much going on in Carlsbad. I tried to join you guys like 4 times yesterday, but the audio was just so choppy from the signal down there. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to have to listen.
That's fine. So I was just recapping on my week and kind of last month and how things been just testing my patience and testing my frustration, forcing me to grow into a better person when it comes to knowing my computer more. That's the right way to put it.
Right.
But like, you know, the topic today is what makes you happy in Magic. But we were talking about Lorcana coming out, right?
Mhm.
And I have no interest in joining Lorcana as a fan base or as getting cards. But I am a fan of it succeeding because that can mean good things for Magic the Gathering to us players. You know, competitive pricing, possible, needing to keep people in the game. They'll figure out better ways to keep people in the game, better structure. I mean, if Lorcana succeeds the way my brain thinks it should, Magic will finally have a competitor and have to compete with that. And that makes me excited, gets the juices running. Like, even to the point where I don't know if he'll be able to jump on, but I invited Bob to the stream if he wants to jump on because I know he's all about Lorcana, and I'd love to dig his mind on it. You know, and I think it's just amazing because sure we have Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon in the world, but they don't have the same staying power or fan base kind of power. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. But the power to make Wizards worry that they could lose players. And I think Lorcana is in that realm at the moment.
They're not as competitive with Magic.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. Lorcana does have a unique position, and I think that what we're seeing with the prices in the secondary market dropping and Wizards reprinting to open up the player base more for new players, make it easier for new players to access the cards and cheaper,
right,
is a direct result of Flesh and Blood, Weiss, Sorcery, Lorcana, all of these other new TCGs, some of them indie TCGs like Sorcery, just coming into the market, and so Wizards is trying to hold on to a piece of the pie and grab new players.
Right. And you know, Wizards already has a dedicated fan base.
Yep.
And but the problem lately is they've been kind of struggling to keep it because their decisions are confusing to us. You know, it's when the chocolate starts tasting different and you don't know how the chocolate factory works, like how they make the chocolate, makes you wonder what they're putting in the chocolate. And weird analogy, but that's how it feels with Magic the Gathering. The chocolate sometimes tastes different. You know, here's like a rich piece of chocolate. They're that tastes odd, like Commander Masters, where the price is just so expensive, but the flavor is kind of bland.
Yeah. Commander Masters is really, really weird product. So, it's the oddness to me is that the pulls that you get, kind of match what the box price is. So it's almost like they planned the boxes to the secondary market, which is really, really odd. And I know it's a push point. They're trying to push to see where they can charge, what they can charge for boxes for different products.
Right.
So yeah, because the price is directly correlated to Double Masters 22, pretty much exactly across the board. It just not set boxes because those weren't available, but the draft boxes and collector boxes were the same price on release. Just Double Masters 22 was raised up higher by the player base. by the secondary market.
Yeah, and see, I know people hate going back to MSRP, but like missing MSRP in the world kind of gives the secondary market the availability to push the price up on a product because we don't know what the MSRP should be. And but like some people have been noting is they've been lowering the price of like said Commander Masters to push product out because not everybody wants to spend the crazy money on the price of Commander Masters, which I think is fantastic that people are lowering the prices on that product because no one wants to pull a Taurand and feel like they just lost money. We need more.
Yeah, and and two, that is one thing Lorcana does have going for it big time is they are doing MSRP.
Right.
And I don't know if you heard on the roundtable when I was talking about it, but Ravensburger is actively pushing for MSRP to be used.
Right. Yeah. I was there when you were talking about that part for sure.
Yeah. So that they're doing everything right to make it into a family game type thing, a kid-friendly situation, kid-friendly costs.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, that's really, really awesome, and it will turn heads.
Oh yeah.
So
and that's a good thing because like MSRP, like I think MSRP is important because what I think it builds confidence in the buyer base.
Yeah.
And by that, in my view and opinion, is when there's an MSRP, you know how much the product is supposed to be. You know how much it's worth, and when it's a validated moment when they're selling it for a certain amount more because of the value of the product is worth the value of the little bit more, or when it drops, it lets you know how the product is supposed to move. If we knew an MSRP and they're selling the product for less than MSRP, it's not a good product. If it's MSRP's here and the value is selling for a little bit more, the product's going to be worth more because that's how people value the product.
Yeah.
It's a baseline, and that's how I see it. I'm not always the smartest person when it comes to MSRP, but MSRP is suggested retail price basically. There's like here's how much it costs to make, here's how much you should sell it for, but if it sells for a little more, the product's good. Without MSRP, for the person who doesn't follow the game and know the prices of cards, you have no clue if it's a good deal or not.
Exactly. So
or you can just play arena and just not care about the prices.
Just got to remember the prices of wild cards.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot they sell those individually now, don't they?
Yeah, you're only allowed to buy a certain amount, though.
Well, that's because what if they didn't? The game would be broken and pay to win, like even more. So, I saw a meme the other day that I thought was funny. Someone, that meme where it shows someone looking at their foot and says, "Look, I stepped in shit." And he looks at his foot, and the shit he stepped in was people who don't allow proxies in a play group are basically people who are paid to win players.
Oh man. So I don't personally on proxies, I don't mind if others use them. I personally will not use them or own proxies, but I don't care if other people do.
That's how I feel about it. Like, I don't mind proxies very much, but I hate using proxies myself.
Yeah.
Like I got a proxy doubling season. It looks like crap somewhere. And I just don't use it because I just hate not having the original card. Like, that's why I have to save for that doubling season now because I didn't pull it. But still, it gives me motive to save. Gives me motive to go about a card. Proxies, in a way, since I don't like proxies myself, in a way, kind of motivate me to push for that collector side of me, where I want this card for this deck. I got 2 enchantment decks that can use it, so I need 2 copies of this card in the long run. So I'm happy these reprints are happening. I know some people are, it's like, it's killing the value. Well, Like, the other day I was reading this article off the internet talking about how the article was about back-to-back reprints, like why Wizards is doing it. And it's because they are attacking the secondary market because they don't think a card should be above $50.
Yep.
Or so. There's more words to it, but basically they're trying to drop the value so people can access the cards more often. You know.
You know what's crazy about that is Richard Garfield said that in an interview in 2016, said that he feels that no card should be above $20. And now they're saying it in the Fireside chat. So to me, it's like, okay, you guys are actually following Richard Garfield's viewpoint on the game at this stage.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a collectible card game. It's supposed to be collectible, but they didn't say it had to be pricing people out of the game.
Yeah.
You know, like collectability is neat. You know, I understand the collectability. Like personally, I have an issue with collecting cards because if I'm not using a card, I feel like I'm holding on to something that someone else can play, especially if it's a value. That's why I loved trading when I could. Like when I can trade, I'll trade because if someone else can use the card, good for them. I'm not looking for an estate in Magic. I'm looking for cards to either build another deck or upgrade a deck. And man, I just blew my load helping Mythic Hunter because I gave him pretty much all my valuable stuff in that trade.
Oh my goodness! Well, are you getting some goodies out of it though?
Oh, I did get some goodies. Like I got bipolar and didn't think about the whole thing because he sent me some Eldrazi's. One of them I can play. One of them's banned and Commander.
I'm like, they're cool.
Yeah. But I was just so stoked because he sent me some nostalgia cards. I'm like, here, have like 4 $20 cards. I'm like, just slammed him in there. He opened he made a video about it. He was excited. But there are cards that I was never going to play.
See, like the more modern cards, I don't care much about them. What I care about is I like my oldies. I like getting my old stuff. Right. So, you know, I'm like that foil Old Border Chalice of the Void I pulled on DJ's channel. Yeah. You know what's happening with that? It's going straight to Card Kingdom for credit, and I'm going to turn that into some more revised dual lands because I play with the revised dual lands in my decks. I don't play with my beta or unlimited ones, but my revised ones go in my decks. So
yeah, I have proxy revised dual lands in one deck. Awesome. But eventually I want to replace those lands with real lands, but probably not revised lands. I hate proxy still, but my friend gave them to me. I'm like, and they look good. Like you can't tell they're like on the front side, you can't tell they're proxies. On the back side, the coloring's a bit off, you can tell. But that's the issue why I don't like proxies, because proxies usually don't look like Magic cards.
Yeah.
Or used to, I should say.
Yeah.
So that's why I ran in my deck, because no one could tell at a table if they were fake or not.
Yeah.
And I'd tell them they're fake. I wouldn't lie about it, but there's an issue with fake cards that come to me because I feel dirty when I'm playing with fake cards because I rather people not play proxies, but I don't care if they play proxies. It's just there's been salty moments in my life or in my gaming life of Magic where people just proxy the most broken deck they could find online and play it to win it, but they're winning with fake cards. I'm like, that's unfair. You can't afford that.
Yeah, exactly. I've been in those shoes, and it's like that's also why I mean I don't mind others playing proxies, but if you're gonna bring a whole proxy deck, come on.
Right.
Come on, man. I don't mind net decking because I was a spike. I just play in tournaments, grinding tournaments, and winning. That was my big thing. So when you're a spike, you're net decking. That's what you do. You're not going to come up with something that someone else didn't come up with. And but if you're playing Commander and you're net decking and pulling together this broken deck just to win, it's like, dude, we're not playing competitive. But if you want to do it, okay. Hold on a sec. Let me pull out my Urza deck here, and I'll stomp you on turn 2. Let's do it.
Right. well, like net decking, like my view on net decking changed when I built this deck that I played against Hillbilly on Arena.
Uh-huh.
It was a Soul Time Muldrotha deck, and I built it from scratch. And because I assessed standard at that time, and I was looking for the best removal spells in the game and the best draw spells available and the creatures that gave the most card advantage. And I built this deck that was pretty strong in meta. And I'm like, after I built the deck, I went online. I'm like, I wonder if anybody's built this deck before or tried building a similar deck around Muldrotha, because I just thought Muldrotha was a neat card. And lo and behold, everybody's already solved this deck before I even built it, and I could have basically saved time.
Right. Right.
Like, but that's an example where I built a deck and realized net decking ain't so horrible if you know what you're doing, but someone's already solved the format, because the format of any game like Commander, Standard, Legacy, whatever, it's already been solved. Too many people are solving it. So if you're trying to be competitive, there's a space where net deck is okay, but my brain space is like, well, you better know how to play the game, and you better know why the deck works before you do it, you know?
Yeah. Like if you're trying to net deck a competitive modern deck like Yawgmoth, you have to master that particular deck for it to be good. Otherwise, it's just garbage.
Right.
There are like, I don't know, 5,000 different play lines that you need to follow in order to win, and it's all dependent on what hand you have, and it's so freaking interactive and crazy.
Right. Well, it's like one of my friends used to be heavy in Modern, and he played a Modern version of Dredge at the time, I watched him play the deck. I tried playing the deck, and it's one of those decks that you have to follow an order of cards, basically, to pull off the combo and synergies. You can't just play willy-nilly. You got to know the way things work, and you got to have faith. And like, it's going to be weird to say this, but you got to have faith in the way things work, because sometimes you're going to have your ass handed to you before you pull off a win, because the end game is to pull off the win no matter what.
Yeah. Yep,
but
exactly. And Dredge is one of those decks that, from the outside, it looks like, oh, wow, this is an easy deck to play. But when you actually sit down and play it, it's like, holy crap.
Right.
I have to do all of this, and it has to happen in this order. Otherwise, I'm going to lose.
Pretty much. Yeah. If you don't pull off the thing right, if you don't pull off the system right, and you don't play the cards in the correct order. Yeah. You're not going to get the advantage of the combo synergies or the synergies altogether to pull off your win. Because that deck gets even more insane when you go to Legacy. And I don't know if the cards are banned or not more, but Legacy Dredge was insane. I've never seen that deck played. A 0 land win deck where you win turn 1, turn 2. You're like, damn. And you got to play the cards right and in order, and you got to know how you're playing them. And one thing I like about Modern and Legacy decks more than Standard decks is Modern and Legacy decks got to be like, the build has to be perfect to synergize with what you need. Standard's a little more flexible, because it's a rotating format where the existence is coming. Oh, hello. We got a person joining the stream. We got MTG Gaming Bob, good morning.
Yo.
Yo.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. We can hear you.
Good morning, Bob.
You can hear me? It's not like showing up on the thing. Good morning.
No,
good morning.
No, we hear you good.
Good afternoon, I should say.
Yeah, well, it's more brunch time when I start the show. It's like 11 o'clock my time. But anyways, that's what we've just been saying. We got Bob here. I actually invited him here because I wanted to talk about Lorcana and how it should be good for Magic and other things. Because Lorcana has been blowing up all over my social media. From Facebook, Reddit, people are buying this product as fast as they can, as much as they can. the game is doing pretty good. And Bob even told me that supply is kind of rough right now because people are buying it out.
Yeah.
Well, also Ravensburger admitted that they underestimated the demand for the product. So first wave is short print.
Right.
Well, so lots and lots and lots on that. If you guys want me to drivel on and on,
dribble on.
I'm hearing conspiracy theories and all this kind of stuff. But I mean, think about it. If you were in Ravensburger's position, it's a brand new TCG. You have no built-in audience, though you can expect some from Disney IP.
Mm-hmm.
But how much are you going to print? Are you going to overshoot? Would you print 1 million boxes and only sell 10,000 because you don't know that it's going to take off? All the stuff, just like with WotC, they had to get time at printers. They couldn't. It's not like they can just go, oh, we need 100,000 more boxes. Well, shoot, let me get that by tomorrow. They got to take their time, and they don't want to risk their capital and overshoot the mark by a ton, flood the market with their first set. It's not a conspiracy. It is just the natural order of things. Now, that being the case, yes, I've heard, and Pat, I actually spoke on the phone with him yesterday. So we were at Gen Con, and that was a giant kerfuffle. I'm trying to be nice, Tortoise, and use good words on your show.
You can use swear words. I just don't like them when people string them in a phrase just to have like a string of swears.
Let's just say it was a Schlitz show. There, it was really bad. It was, 9,000, and bad things happened to me, and I went there specifically for Lorcana, like the main part. And they just clearly demand was crazy. Like, I'll say this. It's funny because I don't know if you've been watching Cardboard Conversation, but my channel partner, Matt, he hates Lorcana. He hates Disney. He wants no part of it. And he even asked me on the show a few weeks ago, he says, out of all the new games of Sorcery and Cryptic and all these other things, and I'm not going to go into the why, he says, why Lorcana? And, just going to Gen Con and seeing 9,000 people waiting hours and hours in line at just a chance to buy the game showed me the just native interest that exists for a game that really doesn't even have any exposure yet. I'll get more into that in just a second if you want. But so when I got to Gen Con, all I went away with Lorcana product was four of the promos. That's it. So I didn't get any there. I did get some yesterday, but all the stores were like, we're not selling boxes. It's super limited. Even the store I picked up my second trove, which I believe the Illuminator troves are likely to be one of the two SKUs so they have several SKUs. They have the starter decks, just like Magic. You can think of it that way. They have draft booster boxes, just like Magic. They have a gift bundle, which is, you can think of it like those Pokemon gift bundles with the oversized cards.
Right.
It's roughly equivalent to that. And then they have the Trove, which is something akin to like a fat pack, with a nice storage box.
Right.
But as far as I can tell, the gift bundles and the Troves will not be for sale at the big box stores ever. I don't think those are getting a reprint. Everything I'm hearing about the reprint waves are just going to be draft boosters and starter decks. So I think the gift bundle and the Illuminator Troves are going to be the super difficult product to get your hands on.
Right.
And so there's other games that have that precedent set where, there's lots and lots of starter decks and there's lots and lots of draft boxes, but the gift bundle is the hard one to get your hands on. I think you're going to see some of that here for the collectability.
Right.
However, just getting any product at all right now is really, really difficult. I talked to several stores that said they didn't get anything that they pre-ordered, LGSs that wanted to, and the reason they were told is that they were giving product first. Ravensburger is giving product first to the stores that signed up for tournament play.
Right.
Yep.
So there are many stores that either were rejected or didn't even bother to sign up, that expected to get product as of yesterday and did not.
Yep.
So I think it's very, very limited out there right now. And I agree. They're going to get another wave. We're going to see a lot more on September 1st when the big box stores get it. And then there's supposed to be another big print wave coming in the middle to late September. So don't FOMO out. Like if you just want to get it to play it and try it out, and it was fun. If you want to get to that in a minute, here I played it yesterday. But don't FOMO out. You'll get your hands on some of it. If you really want to be the collector, try to find, if you possibly can, the troves and the gift bundles. Don't overpay. There'll be more printed, but we don't know exactly what. But it was surprisingly fun. I pooped on the, you were there, Tortoise, when I looked at the rule set back in April, and I was like, oh man, it's too simplistic. You can't respond. You can't react to your opponent.
Right.
Yeah. I remember that.
It actually was okay. Actually, when I played at Gen Con, I played a game called Hero Realms, where you only do things on your turn.
Mm-hmm.
And the new Star Wars game, FYI, spoiler. So if you don't want to hear this, plug your ears. The one that's coming out next year, Star Wars Unlimited TCG, also has that same mechanic where you only do things on your turn and you alternate turns back and forth. So it's pretty prevalent out there to not be able to interrupt your opponent's actions. And you know what? It's okay. I was actually pretty okay with it.
Yeah, that's actually kind of cool, like especially if you're doing like, kids games and stuff like that, or stuff more aimed towards a younger audience. You really don't want that aspect, I think. So I think that's awesome.
I'll be honest, I don't think it's aimed at kids. When I played yesterday, there was, I don't know, probably 20 people, and there were like maybe 2 kids that were in that 8 to 10 range, and then a few teenagers. No, it's adults. It definitely is more adult, and there's already metas and all kinds of mostly adults. I'm going to say that right now.
Well,
so don't kid yourself that this is aimed at kids. It is not.
I'm thinking it's interesting that that people are designing games with less secondary player interaction, and it seems like people are favoring I do stuff on my turn, you do stuff on your turn with these designs that have been coming out lately. It seems to be doing that more often. It's like people, I don't know if it's because people don't like counter spells or don't like certain things you can do on other people's turns. It's interesting to see how this is and how people are designing it. It's like they're purposely doing it to not be different than Magic, but to do stuff that they love out of like games like Magic. They're doing the things they like, enjoy the most, and they think other people enjoy that too.
I'll say this: what I notice about those games where you don't have that on the stack interaction, they play much smoother and faster.
Yeah,
nice.
So it's a lot less kerfuffle back and forth. Hey, judge, and that's great if you want to be in there, taking 30-minute turns in Magic. But I'll be honest, like even some of the games we played at Commander Raids, and it gets into that 15 to 30 minutes on a turn. I'm so bored. I just want the game to end and don't care who wins.
Right?
Yeah.
So I just want to get on with my day. And I think that's honestly what the design is doing. And I think that's why we're seeing sort of a shift towards that in game design. Isn't Flesh and Blood mostly that way as well? That you don't really interrupt the other player?
I have no clue. I haven't watched gameplay. I've only seen pack openings.
But I think it's actually a very slick sort of intentional design, that some people are complaining about it. But I think it does. It sets a clock. It speeds things up because, you're not. Does it simplify it to a degree? Sure, you don't have to think as hard, but sometimes that's not such a bad thing, especially if you take a gummy or two.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I got to refill my coffee.
To do that.
I got to refill my coffee, and I'll be back in like a minute. Please fill up time, talk about it, because I want to come back and I want to talk to you about the effects of Lorcana and how I think it will affect Magic.
Sure. I actually have some thoughts on that too. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. So I do want to get Lorcana. I have 2 young daughters. My oldest is 11, and we're a Disney family, so we're going to be getting some. And when I told my oldest about it, all day Friday, she was like, "Dad, when are we going to see Lorcana?" I said, "No, we're not seeing it anywhere in our town for a while because we don't have an LGS."
So, I could talk to that. And I'm sorry, Hillbilly. I feel like I'm just completely excluding you. Like, I can't tell if you're wanting to chime in. Please do.
It's fine. But I don't think, Lorcana is going to affect Magic. I do believe that.
I think Magic is going to affect Magic more than Lorcana is going to affect Magic. And I'll explain some of that here in just a minute, too, when Tortoise gets back. I think Magic is by far its own worst enemy. All these reprints, and people keep like sugarcoating it, but they're going to come to this conclusion. I did, right immediately. If you were watching, I melted down on Dual Brain's channel the day that the Fireside chat happened, because I saw it coming before that. What Fireside did for me, that's the admission from the two top dogs over at WotC, admitting that they don't really understand their product, and if they do, they don't give a shit, and they're just going to milk that cow as fast as possible. Like that literally broke me as far as Magic's concerned. I was like, oh boy, they're trying to get as much out of it as possible in the shortest period of time, and they don't really care about long-term implications. That's about the shortest way I can put that. And they're draining your collection. Anything you've collected over the years, they're draining the value out of that by these reprints, and they're doing it super rapidly. Look at how many reprints. I bet you there are more reprinted cards this year than there are new cards. I'd bet $100 on it, and it's sad, but at any rate,
all right,
I don't think Lorcana is the problem for Magic, and not just because it's in a TCG space. It's a very different game to play, very very different. I would say it's more, if you're looking for that game style, probably more in competition with like Pokemon, just for the gameplay style. But here's the thing, so. If you said you're a Disney family, right? Something I saw last week that just absolutely sent me to the moon. I did not know that yesterday. I didn't know until last week that yesterday they released Lorcana in the Disney parks.
Yes.
Do you know how many more millions of eyeballs that's going to put on Lorcana that would never even see a Magic pack?
Right.
Although one guy did post up on Reddit because he was at a Disney park on release day. On release day, and everyone was waiting in line, and there was just no product available.
No shit.
Nothing there. It was like,
So think about that long term, though. They're gonna get it there, right?
Oh yeah.
Do you know how many people go through just Disney World, just one Disney park a year? 58 million people visit Disney World in Orlando, Florida. Not all the other parks they have. Just Disney World. And if you've ever been to a Disney park, have ever gone into a Disney store, it's always nuts and butts in there every time you go in, like all day long.
Yeah, it's
You're always waiting
everywhere. And I love that. I love that that it's going to be widely available, that it's going to be this product that I can just take and be like, you know what, kids, let's go pick up a pack or two. I love that.
You know it's going to be at Barnes & Noble. It's already, if you go to Best Buy, it's on their website. Did you know they're also going to sell it on the shopdisney.com website?
Yeah, I heard you mention that on the
that's huge too, man. Like they don't put I don't think so. I don't believe they have like Marvel Champions and other licensed Disney IP stuff. They certainly don't have the Fantasy Flight games for Star Wars and stuff on their shopdisney.com. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what this shows, the support for Ravensburger is astounding that they don't give to other licensed IP stuff from Disney. So I can't state how huge that is. And that has nothing to do with Magic. Right. The hundreds of millions of people that are going to see a box of Lorcana that would never go down that, sports collector aisle in Walmart. And where else do you see Magic? It's never on TV. It's not advertised on billboards. Dude, what I'm saying is this is not competition for Magic anymore. It's its own beast that if it affects Magic, that's really not its fault.
No.
Magic is driving people away that you're buying $500 boxes and getting $100 worth of cards out of them.
Right. Well, that's kind of wanted to lean in on too, because I don't think Magic. I don't think Lorcana is there to compete with Magic because it's its own thing. But I think the competitive nature of the game existing and how popular it's come, how popular it might be, I think will be the competition Wizards needs.
Honestly, what I say the way that it'll affect Magic is the collectors and investors. And Magic has been giving the big middle finger to the collectors and investors for years now.
Yeah.
So you don't want us there? Fine. We're going to find something else to put the money in. And guess what? This looks pretty damn appealing to me.
Right. And it makes sense what you're saying, because I was reading an article, and I wish I saved the article because someone written it and put their love and heart into it, but it was basically talking about the back-to-back reprints and stuff they've been doing, and it's basically because it's Wizards competing with the secondary market to drop prices of singles down. And I'm like, that, like, if I saved that, I'd show it, but I can't remember where it was, and it was on my phone when I read it. And it's interesting that they are competing with the secondary market to drop prices down. Like you know, someone like me will appreciate that, to where a collector will not. You know what I'm saying? And I can't, and I'm not gonna defend the Wizards for doing it, and I'm not gonna back up the collector for doing it, because, you know, I'm not in those realms. But getting people's views and points, if Wizards starts losing collectors just in general, they're going to be losing the people who spend the buku bucks, more than the people who just spend the stuff on the secondary market. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, that's why I said people, I think, mistakenly accuse me of being the investor guy in Magic. Did I invest some? Sure. Have I collected for decades? Have I played since 1994? And guess what? I'm not selling my cards. I say this openly and often. I can't really be an investor because I haven't sold a damn thing.
Right.
So I'm keeping my cards, and no matter what they do at WotC, it'll be unfortunate if they lose whatever secondary market value. I don't sell anyway, so it doesn't really affect me that much. And I don't mean to sound bougie about that, right? I'm going to keep my cards, and I'm going to keep playing. I'm not going to continue buying because it feels bad. Like I have literally 3 boxes. I'm looking at them right across the room right now of Dominaria Remastered that I bought for $111 a piece that I don't want to open because I just think it's going to feel bad when I open them. Like,
I get you.
I think, you know, like the Dominaria Remastered. Yeah, if you're going to open it, draft it, have fun with it that way.
Yes.
There's no investment. There's no value pullback on that.
Right.
On that particular product.
I have drained every bit of excitement out of pack opening.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see the people like Air Collections and other people who sell Magic online and stuff, and how their thoughts have changed on it. Like, Air Collections very avid on Magic product, pushing and getting your value back, and he talks positive all the time about it. But I've seen other collectors, and I've told you about the store owner I've talked about Commander Masters. It's really gone from a long-term investment kind of game right now to a short end, buy now, sell now, get what you can, then move on to the next product. And it's really rough, like, because like it's pretty much a stock market right there, and you don't know what's going to hold up. So you're taking the lowest buy-in to push out the most value, and that's become a shorter dividend into the long haul of making money off Magic as a seller. Now, as a collector, and I'm not gonna lie to you, like watching my $5,000 valued cube drop down to $3,000 and probably less now is kind of infuriating, because it wasn't intentional for me to watch the value of the cube drop, but like, you know, when you have it on a site like Cube Cobra, I tell you the value of the cube, and you watch the value just kind of fluctuate a little. It gets very frustrating because there's some cards you just pumped in some love and value into, like the money, and there's cards that you've seen going up, but, you know, drop back down, and it feels like you're watching a stock market and you don't know what the value is worth anymore. Because one of the things I used to pride myself on was how low I bought cards for the cube and how much it gained. Because I guarantee I didn't spend $3,000 on a cube. Right, so I'm still good on that aspect, but when it was $5,000 worth of value, I was feeling pretty good because my collection of cards was that high, and I was getting the cool cards whenever I could. But now, it's like playing the cube is nothing. Playing the cube is fun, but watching the value just market kind of shows you how the market of Magic is going.
Well, and that's why there's a lot of people that are very in tune with everything that they buy. Mm-hmm. You know, have it on spreadsheets and whatnot. And it's not to be, you know, everybody enjoys that you buy something that ends, or like those free promo cards for Disney I got, right? The first day they were $1,200 a piece. You know, that feels good. But they dropped all the way down to $50 a piece, and now so it doesn't really matter. But that is a good feeling. That's a unique feeling for a game, because let's try to put this in terms of like other games.
Right.
Do you feel that way at all about Monopoly, or care about that? Like, oh, hey, the little puppy is now worth $50. There's no way you say that about, right? You don't look at your games that way.
No.
Yep. Magic had in the past. Right. And I'll say this, I've said it before, I've told you behind the scenes, so it's no shock to you, Tortoise. I said that I don't know they can undo the damage that they've already done in the past 2 years.
Right.
You cannot unprint those cards.
You can't, but I'm very curious to see how things will change. Like my biggest hope, and this, the fallacy and fantasy of it is my biggest hope is Lorcana just existing will get Wizards kicking in their boots a bit just for the collector side of things. You know what I'm saying?
Well, but here's the fallacy with that, that you could say the same thing happened when, I don't know, like Amazon came along and did it to Walmart or Sears,
right.
And since Amazon came along, Walmart's been just shutting down store after store after store, because when Walmart came along, they did the same thing to Kmart. As soon as the better mousetrap's out, it's too late.
Right.
And it's really problematic for WotC. I have a feeling once they lose the players are more devout, right? Players are fanatic. Collectors and investors are not. Once you push out your collectors and investors, they're not going to have that same love of the game. The memories of sitting there drafting a card and sitting across from somebody and playing it, right? That it's going to be much more difficult to lure those kind of people back in, that money back into the ecosystem.
Yep.
And all you're hearing,
you're right.
do you guys watch Solar Games? I don't know if anybody, please go subscribe to him if you haven't. But he was even talking about he says he has so many offers, and so did Rudy. So I'm sure you guys watch Rudy. So many offers, so many people are trying to sell their collections that he can't keep up.
Mm-hmm.
And Rudy said the same thing. And I'm hearing that from the stores. Go ask your LGSs. Don't trust me. Go talk to your own LGSs.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big problem. Those are big problems. People that have been diamond hands for a very long time leaving are not the 2-year Timmies that, pop in and pop out.
Right.
And those people are not going to come back.
Right.
If they've been here for 25 years and finally pull the trigger, and once they get rid of it, they're not going to try to reestablish their old collection again. They're just simply going to move on.
Right. That's and you know what? In the long run.
Well, to be on that point though, I did come back after a 10-year hiatus. I sold out in 2014 and came back last year, and have been rebuying my collection. But yeah, most people are not. I agree. Most people are just going to be like, nah, I'm done.
The key to that was the reason you left in 2014 is not the same reason. You weren't being pushed out.
No, I left because of the crappy situation with the Theros gods in the boxes, the crappy collation they did, where Wizards even admitted to it, and their Journey into Nyx released god boxes where literally every pack had a god in it to try to recoup some of that favor. But I was not the only one who quit because of that, because I opened 3 cases and I got 1 god in 3 cases of booster boxes, so I was pissed. So that was.
But they hadn't been draining your value of cards that you had for decades, and that's what they've just done now. And but realistically, like I said, they can't put that genie back in the bottle.
Yeah, true.
Well, they can. I actually said it on one of the shows. The way I said is they would have to do like a voluntary turn-in program where you turn in cards and get product from them. But there's no way in hell they're doing that.
No. The other way is they print newer, more powerful cards and not reprint those for a period of time.
But the problem is that's still the problem, because there's just still so many. And if they make a more powerful card, then those cards become moot and pointless and will not have value.
Yeah.
So it'd be like the dual lands. If they made purely better dual lands, you better bet your bottom dollar that dual lands, like for example, if they made dual lands, but draw a card when you put it into play, that the new dual lands are just 2 colors exactly the same, basic land types, But now you get to scry one, gain a health, whatever. If they're minimally better than a dual land in any way, and they come in untapped, you better bet your bottom dollar that those other dual lands drastically lose value. And if they keep making enough to where you don't, if they keep making cycles of them to where you don't need them at all, the OG duels,
right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter if they don't print them for a long time. They're not going to recover their value because there's simply better cards available. Now,
fair point.
The other problem you have with, even if you cut off the printing presses and you promise never to reprint any of the cards that have been reprinted, it's like Soul Ring. There are just so damn many of them that you're never going to get enough attrition. You're not going to get enough new players that need those cards that'll drive the values back up again.
Especially when older players are just building more decks.
Well, and what you have, and what's really detrimental is that there's a silent movement in the background of people that have, they're not selling off 1 or 2 copies of things, guys. These guys, the people that are getting out, have boxes and cases and dozens of copies of the valuable cards,
right?
That are not even saturating the market yet. That's the bigger problem for WotC. Is it's not the 1 or 2 players that have 1 or 2 copies of a thing that are getting out. It's the players that have substantial positions of what were once valuable cards that are leaving, and that's a big problem.
Yeah,
right. I've seen some of the people selling their collections on Marketplace, and they're big collections that they're selling. So I know
some guy who has 1,500 copies of the Scarab God. It's like, well, if he drops all 1,500 of them in the market at one shot, I know they just reprinted it, but when it was at $25, had he dropped 1,500 copies, that becomes a $5 card.
Right.
So all you need is like 1 or 2 players that are hoarding some of these cards, like Mana Crypt. I'll guarantee there's somebody out there who has like 1,000 copies of it.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes and drops those jokers on the market. All of a sudden, it's going to take a very long time for things to recover.
Oh, no, but no doubt. But you know what? Anyone want to buy a $20 Lotus pedal? Nice. What is it? But
man, I remember Lotus pedal was $1.
Dude, I literally have like 30 Tempest Lotus pedals upstairs. All there, man.
Same. I remember when they were like $1, people were like,
So if you want to see the market crash, all these OG people seeing the reprints just go, oh, well, shit, let me put them all in the market. They're going to face plant.
Right. So, what I'm excited to see, I know, and you covered a lot of good points and details there, Bob. What I'm excited to see is how Lorcana is going to affect Magic in its own way. Even though Magic is doing a lot of things that they're going to step over their own shoelaces, basically over. So I'm excited to see what Lorcana is going to do with Magic, because big IP is going to definitely make waves against its competitors, and Magic is just by naturality is going to be a competitor of Lorcana. And so I'm excited to see the implications of that. But looking at the time, it is time to say goodbye. We've been on for an hour, so I want to thank you, Bob, Robert, and Hillbilly, for jumping on.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
If I could just leave one parting shot here to your point, I am at least one example of money shifting from Magic into Lorcana.
And there's 1,000 more like you, so I get it. So I appreciate that. So everybody, thank you for showing up. Have a wonderful day. And remember, play wise. Bye.